Hello, everyone. We're going to be doing uh, the very first part of your contractor startup apprenticeship. And we're going to talk about basically keeping it simple, especially in your first 2 years, so you don't get bogged down by bureaucracy and cause you to fail. So let's jump right in. All right, so let's take a look. What you're looking at here is a little quick uh, slideshow about the new contractor and what we want you to consider. So first you got to find out who you are, who your friends are, what do you have, and you got to be honest about your skills and who do you want to focus as your customer. And you got to keep it that simple. So in this, we're presuming that you've already gone and got your license and your bonding and your insurance to function within your state, within your jurisdiction. I'm not going to go into that because every jurisdiction is a little different. You'll have to go and check that out yourself. Okay, so a new contractor, you've got your license, you got your bond. Now you're going to try to figure out what you're going to do. The very first thing you've got to do is determine what assets you're going to put into the company, what type of skills you have, and who are your friends. You do need to look at your customers, but that's going to be based on all that other stuff that we just talked about. So let's start with just getting our assets together and our skills together. All right, so let's establish a baseline. Our goal here is to determine what we want to put into our company and what we want to keep personal, what you want to keep personal. So we're going to use something really simple. We're going to use a spreadsheet right off of Google. We're going to itemize all that stuff. So we're going to assess, um, essentially, you're going to put a car, you're going to put um, your truck and trailer, whatever you plan on moving over into it. And if you're going to move cash into your company, you need to set up an account. I would recommend that you do set up an account. It makes it easier for all transactions. So account in your company name and move money, whatever you're going to start with, into that and consider that's a capital investment, and period. That's where that money goes. It's not for use of personal at all. That's what it's there for. You're going to put that down in your spreadsheet. And we're going to put tools in, equipment. If you're going to move your phone from personal over, or if you're going to buy a company phone and move that into your company. In the very beginning, if you're using a phone and it's for both personal and professional use, you may want to buy a second phone or not use it as a deduction. Okay, just keep it personal. Computers, the same situation. Try to keep your personal and your professional stuff separated. It makes it easier. Very simple stuff. Computers nowadays, you can get them for $300, but I wouldn't necessarily go after that yet. You're not going to have that many deductions that you need in your first year. So if you're using your personal computer, fine, use it, but don't plan on deducting it. That might change if you talk with your accountant or your CPA at the end of the year and you hand them all your books. They might say, well, they might add your computer into it as well. So that's something you're going to have to work out. But for right now, we want to put a baseline down and we want to keep a clean line between personal stuff and company stuff. Then we're going to go over and we're going to look at your business. What you got to be honest with yourself. What do you know about running a business? It's totally different than what your skill sets are. So you have to build a reputation. You have to have some principles. In order to build a reputation, you need to know who you are, what your company's about. You need to have some idea whether or not what you're responsible for and what level of quality you're going to provide in a service and things like that. We're going to talk about people in a bit. You want to keep track of uh, do you know how to keep track of your money flow? Do you know how to do a little accounting? And you need to figure out how you're going to plan. We're going to go over that. Organize your activities with people, scheduling, so subs, vendors, and employees or partners. And then you need to figure out how you're going to do conflict resolution. There always is conflict. And conflict doesn't have to be bad, but there's always something that's got to be solved. So you have to be capable of doing that. You got to be honest where you're at. And you could be at 0 on all of this stuff. That's perfect. We're going to take you from 0 through the first year, through the second year, through the third year. We'll do this in steps. So don't sweat it. You got to figure out what your what your starting point for credit worthiness is. All right, what's your starting credit score? If it's 600, fine. You're not going to be buying a car right away, but we need to know that so that we can work you to into a position where you're up in the 700s. Okay, so we'll take steps to improve your credit. When I say we, I'm talking about anyone watching this video and anyone that's hiring us as a consultant or is just learning. So when I say we, I'm including you. So you need a basic understanding of what debt is and why you need debt in business, and how to work it so that you don't get overwhelmed. You get basic funding fundamentals. Where can I get money when I need money? And how can I get money that's less expensive than my profit margin? Okay. And how do I build funding fundamentals into my bid so that I don't pay all the interest and lose all my ability to make profit? Basic budgeting. How do I convert an estimate into a budget? And how do I maintain my budget? And how do I fix a budget that is when we're going over budget for some reasons? So we have to talk about that and how to stay under budget. And then we're going to talk about the starting valuation of the company. And we'll do that by accumulating all of these assets. And we're going to keep it simple. We do not want it to get complicated. All right. That's the one of the big killers in your morale as a startup company is you are going to get overwhelmed if you make it complicated. You're going to be doing the work. If you're wearing multiple hats, you need to keep this simple. Don't buy any extra software. You're going to track it in a basic spreadsheet. At the end of the year, and we'll go over it. You're going to hand that spreadsheet to your CPA at the end of the year. You're going to pay them a little bit of money and they're going to deal with the headache. And then they're going to give you whatever your tax schedule that you're going to put into your personal income. It could be, and hopefully you're making an income versus the other way around. But if you're first year, you might be upside down, but we'll see. We'll talk about that. All right, so let's go. And then once we get all that set up, then we're going to go talk about sales. And sales is basically you're going to take your skills and we're going to see how we can build products and services and how you market those products and services. So if you say you're a carpenter, well, carpenters mean a lot of things to a lot of people. But if all you do is put in trim work, you need to say you're a trim carpenter or you're a finish carpenter. If you're an electrician, what kind of electrician? Do you work on power lines? Do you do emergency call outs? Or are you just putting in, and this is perfectly fine, outlets and switches? That might be the case. So maybe that's all your skills are at light switch and outlets, and you want to start adding to it. You want to get better skilled, and you want to take on entire houses, new projects, put in new panels, change meters, whatever. Then you got to know where you're at to begin with, and then you can move on and build a plan to get to the next level of products. All right, and that's what the vision for the future is. All right. So we talked about assets and services, self-assessability, what is our credit score and our credit debt, our credit worthiness. And then we're going to talk about what are we spending money on daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. And we want to make sure that they are legitimate expenses and not money waste. Okay, and so that's going to be essentially figured out when we settle down and start working on the spreadsheet. I will talk about the spreadsheet in the next video. Thank you.